loved Thursday's show. Guys, I love where you're sitting. Do you like your vibes?
Hold on a second before we go any further. It's you, and I know it's you. Why are you listening to this show? Why are you watching us and you haven't supported us? You have to
like, subscribe,
and follow.
Share.
And follow.
And comment and get involved. Follow us on social media. Get behind us on our social media. But also Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast. Please click on it. We are only here because you want us to be here. And unless you give us that little vote and it gives us a little tick every day and says we're allowed to continue to exist, we'll be gone. So sorry to interrupt you, but
I
it's
might do
important.
a poll on social media over the weekend, actually, or next week about like the topics that we're chatting about and people's thoughts on it. Because like trying to get people involved. Sometimes we're all a bit too lazy to comment, but I might see if people agree. Because some of the topics this week. Can I start on the sexy stuff?
Go on.
Yeah.
So manscaping. Like, Justin, you are wild. Like, you are wild. Like, you're just like, get the beast ready and the little animals will come. Like, this is your synopsis on sex in a marriage or relationship. Like, just prepare to prepare.
So just in context.
Oh, sorry.
We had the idea that Jennifer Zamparelli just launched a podcast, which is about giving advice to women about sex and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I just thought, there's no two men out there sort of giving a podcast and giving sex advice to men, because I just don't think we could take it seriously, or it'd just be double entendre, matron and all that.
Same parents, different timelines, and united by chaos. Strap in for the not-so-Christian brothers.
I have this conversation with friends of mine all the time, like who are married long time, like me, you know, long time listener, sufferer, right? That when you're in a relationship and you're still always thinking, you know, maybe this week is a good week, I'll give it a go. So I actually
think that every day.
Yeah, but I think so. You have to take care of yourself, right? And I think there's a high expectation, isn't it, that women should look, you know, perfectly groomed and ready. But, you know, if men are looking all kind of, you know, hairy and saggy, it's not fair.
Do you think a woman is like, whoop, woo, he plucked those few blackies from that boy, I'm on it? Like, I think women, it's hormonal, it's mood, are they interested? Have they had a bad day? Like, I think for men, the aesthetic, like, whoa, she's growing a bush. That wasn't what we were doing a year ago. Right, I've got to get on terms with that.
There's gardeners.
Whoa, she's changing a little bit in her figure. Like, men, I think aesthetically, do you think a woman is, no, like, I do not want to be crude. Nobody listen if you're my family. A woman is thinking about your hair.
Well, yeah, I can attest to that. I don't think my wife has ever noticed, groomed or ungroomed. It doesn't make any dent in the ability to get more action. So I agree, but I also think there's still just an element of, you know, you got to care, right? You got to put a bit of work
self-care.
in.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
You don't want to give up. You don't want to let yourself and not let yourself go, but give up on everything.
Yeah.
And I think in a relationship, whether you age or put on weight or lose weight, or you're correct, it's just that those simple bits and pieces, staying on top of, like, you're not going to just hop into bed looking. If you know that's going to be the night, you're going to... I think it's so cute, actually.
I mean, I remember those nights that when you'd make the effort going out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it might even be just going out for dinner together or going to the cinema, but it was really cool that both of us would make an effort just even going out, you know? Now, that self sort of respect for each other then, that, you know, we are sort of taking care of ourselves. And with that, we're taking care of each other. And with that, then there's this bonding and sort of physicality as well. And then with that, there might be a bit of whoopie-doo.
But what do they say about sex? Sex is from a whole day of interaction and communication and bonding. It's not from a date or a single moment of touching your arse. It's from how you're respectfully treating each other and talking and interacting. And maybe there's slight banter. Maybe if you've been married a long time, you're not flirting or sending pics or anything, but you're certainly being so nice that you know something's coming.
And I think it's what you were saying there. And I think when you are married, you know, I was married 35 years, that you do then really, there are times you really do then make the effort. You know, when you're away on holidays or whatever, if you're going out for dinner, you really make the effort, because if you don't, it's like, You know,
what?
like you don't have to make the effort. Like I know exactly. You know, Anne was never going to go out for dinner in tracksuit bottoms and a t-shirt. You know, now she wasn't dressing to impress me, but I think it was this level of self-respect for both people, and it's just
But she
a
cared
level
about
of
herself.
respect for the relationship and for who we are and how we want to be seen, and you know, and then maybe later there is sex or whatever. But I found it a mutual respectability.
But you love someone who loves himself. Like, it's endearing
Yeah.
if someone's
Yeah, yeah.
like. So is it not so sexy brothers or so sexy brothers?
I think it's get your flannel and give your old boys a wipe so that you don't stink.
Because I think Durex, Trojan, there's so many that
Wow.
would want to be part of this. Okay, moving
And in the
on.
context of, you know, getting yourself ready and looking good, I mean, you know,
I shave.
wow, look at you.
I like this
shave
colour.
for
I
work,
think,
that's what do.
but I think this is really good. I mean, apparently 1968 is called and it wants it back. But
yeah.
it is
But,
like the runners and everything else. I think I saw wasn't Kevin Kline wearing them in that TV show, that movie. What was
The
it
Big
called?
Chill.
Fish called
Big Chill.
Wanda.
Yeah.
He was wearing those runners. While
So I
running
bought them
upstairs.
online. These
So I
are
was going
actually
to say,
his.
Colm, they're my
That'd be good.
favourite shoes you've ever had.
I was only going to compliment on them. They are
Mustard.
very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Very
I've
cool.
never seen you wear such cool runners.
Yeah.
See?
I definitely say
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
better dressed than Justin today. You're definitely
Wow, that is effective.
my boy.
That is saying something.
Listen, I was wearing a tie earlier on today. This is my upper half.
Yeah.
I was wearing a suit jacket and a tie because I was told.
You're
Is
like
that
on
your
a Zoom.
Skype outfit? Is that your
Suit jacket, a
Skype?
tie, and a jeans.
Well, no, because nobody could see
Oh,
down below. on a video
1990s
call.
Bergerac wants his outfit back.
Justin, how can you be a capitalist
Oh.
and a mountain man?
I just need a mountain bike.
I really find that so jarring because I see you as like the hip thrusting, rope swinging, micro dosing, mountains like calm, getting us all zenny, and then you literally outed yourself as a capitalist on Not So Christian Brothers, and I am shocked and horrified.
Well, I think
What's your defense?
there's a space for everything, right?
Oh.
I think there's an ability to bring that in, and I think you kind of mind yourself whether you're a capitalist or a socialist or Terry who's a vegan. Hate those vegans. I was one, but I gave up on it, right? Because I missed jellies.
That's it. It was the jellies that did it to you.
Jellies that brought me back to the dark side. But I think look, what's always interesting in terms of our health, like in terms of physical and mental health, is that we kind of think that it's supposed to be the purview of, you know, the socialists or the vegans or the vegetarians or whatever else it is. But I think all of us ultimately have a responsibility to take care of
Is
ourselves.
this your answer? Because, sir, that does not stand up in court.
Wasn't that really struggling to get
That was
there?
a real bullshit. Like, that was the first time I've ever seen you bullshit your answer.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think
first
you
time?
sort of went.
Ever. He fudged that. Like, that's actually the first time I've seen you.
I look, it's rare I defend Justin. No, but I think I look, you could be anything. Is it unfortunate that we place certain people in uniforms?
Yeah.
You know, like we did slag the skinny vegan over there.
in his sandals.
Yeah, and his sandals. You slagged my look, and it's a bit 1980s is looking for the runners
And I
back.
look like your man in Coronation Street who fixes cars.
Yeah, well, no, more actually. I think hotter, more Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah
Majors.
Fawcett
Yeah.
fixing the
so
faucet.
sweet.
Yeah, and the Charlie's Angels, and Justin is the capitalist on the day off.
Yes.
with the jeans, but the dress suit. So we do tend to, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, firstly, we do it to ourselves.
Pigeonhole everything.
Yeah, but we have to first wear these clothes to be pigeonholed. So I do wear a lot of loud shirts, right? And somebody said to me recently, I think you said it, and Lucy said it as well. You need to find the guy again that used to wear the loud shirts.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a nice
That's a
statement. I
nice
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
statement.
I think you said that to me, didn't you?
Well, if I did, that was definitely what I needed to say, and I do
That's
think you
interesting.
found that a little bit in the last episode, and I think, you know, a big part of where we want to see you is back in that louder shirt.
Yeah. Because I think if you wear the louder shirt, you become the louder person again. You know what I
Like
mean?
women who say when you dress up or make effort, or aren't you talked
Yeah.
about trackies and Anne wouldn't do that
Yeah,
on a date.
yeah.
Women who've suffered grief or lost a baby or in a really bad way with their figure or whatever, and they're always told by people, get up, get dressed, do it, just one foot in front of another and put a colour on, and you're like, fuck off. But actually it works.
But I think we've all got a style that we have.
That's interesting.
Do you know, we've all got a look. We all look. If I looked into your wardrobe, it would be so completely different to mine. you know? And if we looked into Terry's, most of his clothes you can eat.
Except my old school Tala outfit,
to
which is a
make
pair
more-
of trackies.
So we do have a style, and then when we find that and embrace it, we become...
And what about me? Would you not take something
No,
from
no,
my
you have it.
wardrobe? Would you
I-
take my wardrobe?
Yeah, I just, if you found me in your wardrobe, I just think it might be, Jay might want to have a chat with me. But I'd see you as
It'd be a
very...
bit creepy, just hanging out in your wardrobe.
I'd see you as very boho, isn't that the word?
Boho.
Yeah.
He always does to see boho to me.
Yeah,
Like, she's
I
like
say
a
boo-hoo
hippie.
to Holly, because
And then-
Holly would be similar.
And if I wear a suit, Colm's always like, what's happened? Are you in court? Did you have a parking fine? I'm like, no, I have to.
Yeah, you're quite hippie trippy, you know, and I think that's that's the way we would see it. But so everyone has their style.
Yes.
And then when you and maybe for a period of time there, I wasn't. I couldn't get back to my
But
style.
I think
I was wearing
it's a
dark shirts
I think
and
it's
stuff,
a
you know?
mask, right? So here's I'm gonna flip it, right?
Okay.
Oh, vegan, Segan here.
Yeah.
Will get stressed about like as chill, and Terry is incredible what he does. Like he like we all have the inner person like gets frustrated or worries about things or life and mental. We talk about mental health a lot. Like I'm like hippie zippy. I'm the most controlling, thinking about the future all of the time, keeping all the ducks like that. I'm not hippy dippy all the time. Absolutely. But yes, I've always worn these kind of clothes and they make me feel I'll be more relaxed and calm. And you maybe aren't always allowed colour for shirt because your head dictates.
Yeah.
Justin is 100% Mr. Rope Man, but for his work and his financials, you got to keep your shirt on. I just think we all have a mask.
It would have been
Well, keep
amazing
the
if you
shirt
just
on.
went to your interview without a shirt and just a tie.
I remember at my granddad's funeral, so I was very, very young, and it was my first funeral, and everybody was wearing black. And I turned to my auntie and I said, "Why is everybody wearing black?" And she said, "Because it was your granddad's favorite color."
Oh.
Right? And then I thought in my little brain, about 8 or 9 years of age, I'd love to go to a clown's funeral.
Oh.
Well, that's
Because everybody has.
And you've been dressing accordingly ever since.
Maybe that's it.
And at Anne's funeral,
gosh,
we
yeah.
all wore, well, a lot of us
Colour.
wore colour because
Yeah.
you were like, it's so important to Anne that we are like she was, which was very Spanish, Portuguese, some Mediterranean, colourful, smelled beautiful. And we all turned up in bright colours. And I looked around and went, oh, I love this, because in so many funerals, it's just very depressing.
Yeah.
But I do think in terms of your colour and everything else, it's important, because I also think, as hard and all as it is, you eventually have to come out of that low, because life is still for living, right? So you have to find that space to bring back meaning and purpose, and in large part, that is the clothes that we wear.
Yeah. It is absolutely. So it is hard to find colourful shirts in my wardrobe at the moment.
Well, you need to go and find them, because that's a big part of
Yeah.
where you need to get back to.
I think I put them in another wardrobe and don't want to look in there.
My
Well,
friend
you've gotta go and
lost
get
a
them.
little
Yeah.
sister, in a school-going sister, and he's older, and he has a little sister, and she died very suddenly last week, natural
Oh,
causes.
gosh.
And he said, obviously bereft, but he said, I'm the lucky one. And I was trying to, I don't know where to go with this. Do I listen? Do I help? And he was like, because I'm here. And like, she should be. She had so and a joy and a bliss. And he goes, and he wasn't being facetious or kind of like, twee, or he was like, she would just love to be here. And I found that it turned it a little bit, because I was like, oh my God, poor you. And he goes, no, I'm so lucky.
God.
Kind of interesting.
But he's very young.
He's 40.
Oh, I thought he was like about
No,
6.
no, he's 40, and he had a younger. So there was a second marriage. He had a younger sister,
Oh,
she
sorry.
was
I was
18.
thinking it was like a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
and he just said, "Look, that's she had
Wes-
so much."
Oh, really? Wow. Because I think, well, in my situation, I think there's a lot of survivor's guilt.
Yes,
Yeah,
I get
that-
that too.
yeah.
I get that too.
Yeah.
There is, but
that too.
as a survivor too,
Yeah.
you have to find the space to be you in your career and your life, but also to be dad, and unfortunately with grief, we don't get enough time to probably occupy it where we want to occupy it. But I think if you look back at the older traditions where we'd have like whatever it was, 40 days of
The month's mind.
Black Mirrors,
Yeah.
so you go in,
The widow's peak.
but eventually you have to kind of come out, and I think like I know if I reflect back on when Joshua died, it was that moment where we just had to go, you know what, we have to parent another kid, and it's, you got to just pull on those pants and push through it, and it sucks ass, right? It sucks ass, but the alternative is going nowhere, and I think in large part, you know, you have to kind of fake it a little bit until you make it. So you have to kind of get yourself back into that, you know, clothes, which look great today.
Yeah.
And find that space to push through, because it's like, it is hard.
No,
but
it
I
is.
think all of us have to just find a space when we go in these difficult
Colm
points.
will always occupy both, where he's pushing forward, but he's always going to be feeling bad that it's not him, or it was her, or I don't know.
I don't want to finish this in something very sad or whatever. And people
No,
do.
I want to talk about the economy briefly at the end too.
Okay. People do ask me about how I'm dealing with it. Sorry, I'm not getting emotional. Just something coming to the throat. And once you're busy, you know. You came over the other day to watch the rugby, yourself and Luca with me, and we were busy and we were chatting and eating jellies and whatever, you know, having the crack, getting the takeaway then, or if I'm out, or if I'm at work, or if I'm here in the studio. It's when everybody goes and the door closes, that's when you really need to find, that's when you struggle to try and occupy that space. You know, it's not as much of a struggle when I'm here or where I'm, you know,
Can I ask
out.
a question?
Yeah.
It's a weird question.
Yeah, go on.
So, say if Anne was away for 2 months, like she had done a bit of traveling.
Yeah.
So say she went to Australia, devil's advocate, for 2 months, or she went to America, or she was in hospital for a long time, and you were at home.
Yeah.
Is that not that same feeling?
No,
No, so it's not a loneliness within you. It is definitely due to
because you knew when she was coming back. Because when she was away the last time in Australia, when I get up in the morning and have a shower, so we have an ensuite because we bought it at a good time, property prices. I've got an ensuite, and I'd walk out and Anne wasn't in the bed, and I used to say to myself, "This is good," as in you need this time to prepare, because one day she's not coming back from Australia. One day she's not coming back from the Canaries. So how do you feel now? How do you feel like you're able to turn on the bedroom light at 5 o'clock in the morning and nobody says turn it off, you know?
Yes.
So get ready for it.
Yes.
So I used to do that when she was away, because she was in Australia for 3 weeks. Yeah. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
That's so interesting.
Completely
Those
differently.
little details. Turn
Yeah.
off the light. Like if I'm on radio with you ever and I've the light, it's like turn off the. You've no person. Receiving that. That's so interesting.
Okay, finish on a happy
Yeah,
note.
I just wanted to finish on the recession that's looming.
Hey!
No, respectfully, thank
Cheap
you.
houses.
Yeah, thank you for giving a grief update, because we haven't actually asked you, and it's really
Yeah.
important for people who are watching and are mad about you and engaging with you to hear about that. And I know that, like, we were talking to Terry about Colm's socials, where he was walking around the gaff. Now we wanted
I
to
love
see
that
his
one.
gaff
That was a
because
great
it's
one.
like a nice gaff.
Because we're nosy
We're
neighbours.
nosy. But it was like we really got an insight into how you're feeling, and people love that, Colm.
I was thinking of writing a piece right about it. And I'm like any sort of writer or radio, you always think of the title. Okay? So the title for my piece is Grief is the Word.
Ooh, I like it.
Oh, that's cool.
You could have a music. No.
No, not writing a
Sorry,
musical.
that was a bit bleak.
Okay.
Don't do musical.
Who's going to play Sandy?
Okay,
So-
straight over. Where's the
So
recession?
finally, Mr. Financial Doomy Gloomy.
Yeah.
Kind of loved all this because it's very interesting, but isn't it cyclical? Like we're talking about the recession, COVID, and diddle-do, peaks and troughs, peaks. Isn't it? Because I'm not at all, mathematically minded, and I'm not ever. But isn't it always cyclical? And then you spoke about recession. But didn't we learn the lessons of 2009, or did we not? It was bad.
No, well, no. So we actually were technically going into a recession in 2019. So in November, December 2019, the stock markets made a material decline. Like people lost an awful lot of money, but not the average folk, right? So a lot of people in the markets lost an awful lot of money. And what would have happened is we were just about to move into a normalized cycle, which is actually 10 years from the last recession. But then 3 months later, COVID arrived, and we pumped extraordinary amounts of money in, like more money than we pumped in the Great Recession of 2009. So what happens then is that you increase the money supply, and then you put off the inevitable. But the problem in all economic cycles is if you put off the inevitable, the problem becomes exponentially greater. So unfortunately, we're 16 years from our last downturn, which has never happened before. And the really interesting warning signs are there for the first time. Like, you know, there's been blips and ups and downs and everything else, but all of the kind of warning signs are there. Now, that could be this month, or it could be, you know, October next year. But we're right in the moment of the perfect storm. So from a financial markets perspective, most folks are looking at it now, defensively positioning everything. Everybody is positioning themselves for defense, and people are looking to get liquidity, so get cash, and people are selling assets. And you know, it's I've never seen this. I haven't seen this since 2009.
But if we know it's happening, in the financial markets know it's happening, is there not a way then of avoiding it?
Well,
or fixing it before it actually does go off the edge of the cliff?
Well, unfortunately, and I'm sharing this now with anybody who wants to listen, we will avoid it, but most other people won't. So we're people who are in the know in the markets,
right,
and people with wealth and people with assets,
they'll get ahead.
Are now positioning themselves to think differently. So crypto, as I said in the last podcast, has fallen 25%, and it could fall another 25%. And what we've seen with crypto is an overpromise. And I'm not being negative towards crypto, because I know loads of people make loads of money, but a lot of retail ordinary folks own crypto, and they may have owned it when it was 60,000 or 70,000, and they're now losing money. And the problem is the way to get wealthy is extraordinarily hard, but the most complicated thing is keeping it. And that's what wealthy folks do now. They position themselves for a downturn.
Just let's say for Joan and John, right, who are average, they've just bought a house out in County Wicklow, in one of the towns. They have two average jobs, maybe an income of together about 150,000. Are they going to be hit by the recession, or is there something that they can do? Because
they are not average salaries, FYI. Just FYI, 75. Like, we would think that because we are slightly privileged people or middle.
Oh no, but the average salary is 65.
Well, yeah, but that's not 7. I'm just saying,
okay,
like,
but
it's actually 45, 50 in certain services.
What I'm saying is, let's look at a semi-detached house. They've just bought the house. They're in sort of normal type jobs. Okay. They're not financially. Nice jobs, they're not. You know, they're not as economically up with the world as you are, right? Are they going to get hit by this recession? And is there something that they can do now?
Ooh.
I'm actually thinking of.
This
sorry,
is like
do you know
Joe
what I'm actually
Duffy.
thinking? I'm thinking of. I'll tell you who I'm thinking of. Alex and Laura. Yeah. So I'll actually put faces on them. So that's my son, Alex and Laura. They've just bought a house. They're getting married next August. Is there something they can do to make themselves battle ready for this recession?
Yeah, I think. Look, people should de-risk. I think every household should now work as hard as they can to have 3 or 4 months worth of capital like their normal expenditure, mortgage costs, etc., saved. I think professional services are in trouble. I think people in normalized jobs are and this downturn is going to be a little bit different than previous ones, because white collar workers are now probably a little bit more on the firing line. If you look at building it from the bottom up, we see that the unemployment rate of graduates in Western economies is at the highest it's been in an extraordinary amount of time. So professional services companies that I would interact with a lot, like the big law firms, PwCs, the Deloittes, etc., the intake of their graduates is exponentially lower. So what we're going to have is a glut of smart kids who are unemployed, and actually the risk is for the folks, those guys you talked about there, that they're now in a redundancy category, and they get replaced for cheaper cost down below. Plus you bolt AI in. So a lot of the conversations that I would see in terms of businesses are all about, where do we integrate AI in order to reduce our costs? Because everything that you look at through an economic lens right now is presenting challenge. And if anybody's really interested, there's a great podcast called Prof G Markets, which is one of the best podcasts to get an understanding of what's going on in the world right now. 25 minutes a day, it'll blow your mind. But we're in a place where I would say, have some money, don't have a lot of debt, try and avoid getting yourself into too much debt. If you're in that space, you'll ride it out. Okay, it's going to happen. It's going to be, a challenge. There'll be a 6-month or 12-month cycle. But what generally tends to happen is if we're seeing the data now at the financial markets end of the spectrum in November, it hits real people probably around, the latter part of summer next year.
I see this, I don't disagree with you, obviously, because I don't know the markets, but I see this when we go into this recession. This will be the new wave of AI, because let's say there will be, let's not call it mass redundancies, but cutting and chopping in
Not
major...
mass redundancies, I agree.
No.
But I agree. But strategic maneuvers to allow employers a great moment to now deploy what they've been. So remember what I said in the last episode of the podcast. If you strip away the investment that's been made in AI in the US in the past 2 years, the US economy has not grown. So just consider the US economy's 2% of its entire GDP, the biggest GDP in the world, has been companies investing in AI. They will deploy that.
Yes, exactly. And a recession will give them validation too as well.
Yeah.
Because we can keep X amount of workers, but we're going to have to bring in, AI to ensure that you're there. And then they go, this is great. We knew there was going to be great purpose for AI. AI comes in, saves so much. People go, well, we're on the uppers now. Some people have had their lives destroyed by AI. Companies are making more profit because of the introduction of AI. AI is then going to just be introduced even more. I know you're talking about an AI possible bubble. I don't think I think the Wall-E model that Pixar put out in that movie, in about 70 or 80 years, we could be there, as Elon Musk said.
I think we're here. I think we're actually here. So there is an interesting thing in terms of the singularity, okay, which is where we cross the boundary where human intelligence diminishes and artificial intelligence takes over. I mentioned this podcast in the last episode, Moonshots, but some of the most incredibly bright folks believe that we're already past the singularity. Okay, so you'll never know when you're in it, because it's already happened. So we're probably already past it, and it's actually happening. And a couple of things that are really bizarre to know, right? So Jeff Bezos has set up a new company, a startup called Prometheus, where they've put $6.5 billion into the startup. And Prometheus is going to start looking at ways to do things to get rid of normal jobs, normal work, right? It's an incredible project that they're doing, but it's also quite scary what happens. But equally, if you look at Gemini 3.0, if you want to right now, you can have a startup and you can become a multimillionaire without any employees or anybody else. Like the mad stuff that you can create inside Gemini now and deploy agents at no cost. Eventually AI, the reason why it's a bubble is because right now the future value of AI is being underwritten on the assumption that the governments are going to pay for it, right? But eventually if that gets undone, and it might happen at pace in the next 6 months, then AI is probably going to cost you, like something like ChatGPT is probably going to cost you $500 to $1,000 a month, and only rich people are going to have access to it. So if you have got the opportunity now and you want to learn how to do anything, get in and have a go. You can write code. You can create a game with Gemini, talking to your phone. You can create a game where you can say, create me a shoot-up game set in the future with really cool music, and I want to be able to use my mouse to fire buttons, and I want aliens to come at me and attack me, and it will do it in less than a minute. Like, this is an extraordinary moment, and people will create value. And there's a weird moment right now where you can go and create a whole lot of value, but eventually it will go beyond the reach of normal people because the cost of AI is too great, and that's where the bubble issue is.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry. Are we? Okay, is Christian Brothers a sex pod now, or QI, or the rest of
That was
history?
dark.
Because
It's
now
horrible.
but now I don't know what the brand is because I feel like we veered into financial
Men.
sector. Yeah,
Men.
men talk. But like,
Men
I
talk.
thought we were going to do the sex one. We're not doing that now because this was very.
But we can
this
do
was very
AI. We
intellectual,
could have a
guys.
sex. We could have a sex podcast that's
Sorry,
AI.
I am like such a nerd.
I mean, I loved that, but I'm like, we've lost our Jen Zamparelli audience. We were going to.
I am worried in the future that AI will, and I know
That's
it is.
okay then. So you feel all right now.
It is. It
You're
is.
only
No,
worried
no.
in
I'm
the
worried
future.
that in the future, that all armies, all empires will be controlled by AI.
Sex
Anyway.
robots.
Anyway,
No. To the extent that every piece of military hardware, everything will just be, and it will only be in the hands of the powerful and the rich, to the
So
detriment of
uplifting.
everybody else. So, if this world is going to destroy itself, it's not with climate change.
Okay, well, all I know is Terry and I
with AI.
are pumped because you prepped us and we're going to both be plumbers. We're both,
Yeah.
we know recession.
And
we know
AI
that.
is going to teach me how to be a
And
plumber.
actually,
Yeah.
it is a bit of a kind of a
Do you know
Luigi
what I
look.
mean? Like, I'm ahead of the game on mechanical.
You
I
are,
might
right?
actually be a mechanical.
You're there.
Terry and I have actually listened. We've thought about it. We're already applying to this online course thing. So
Can
we're-
you set up a
Very good.
company and a website called Farah Fawcett Fixing Faucets.com?
that would be
Farah the faucet fixer.
no. Faucet fixers.
Fix it with Farah.
Faucet
Fix your
fixers.
faucet with Farah.
Fix it faucets.
Double F's.
Yeah.
But we
Double
have to,
Fs.
instead of .com,
Wow.
we have to have .ai.
Oh, 'cause I ain't no
Faucetfixers.ai.
bot.
.ai.
Wow,
Fix
guys,
your
well, thank you
faucet
for
with
my next
Farah.
career.
AI.
Podcasting will be redundant by then.
AI.
Okay, thank you guys.
Yeah, okay.
We're back again on Thursday with the show. But this was a show. Do like, subscribe, get involved in the pod. An episode twice a week goes out.
Oh, and leave us a comment and let us know what you think
Yeah.
of the new
Yeah, yeah.
set. Because we'd love to hear your
Yeah, the new
opinion.
set
on-
is awesome.
You're off microphone now.
We can't hear you.
You're off the
Nobody-
microphone
nobody
now.
can
You
hear
moved
you.
your microphone.
Can't
Wow.
hear you.
And tell us,
The tech out here.
Tell us-
Prometheus, is it?
tell
Yeah.
us, was that really nerdy? Because it felt like it, and I'm
Okay,
sorry.
we're cutting probably 24 minutes out of that. We've got 6 good ones.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize.
That was beautiful.
Thank
Never
you.
apologize for who you are.